What is going on, dragonflies? And we are back with Casual Geographic, aka Hood Nature. And this is Even the Babies Have No Respect. Meaning the babies just savages, or the parents just leave the baby behind. Like, what's up? But yeah, if you have not yet, be new, welcome to my channel. My name is Jai. Like, comment, subscribe, and sit back, relax, get your snacks, and let's do it.
You know, if disrespect were a sport, hippos would be Hall of Fame. Because a fetus hippo can treat a grown crocodile as a chew toy and get away with it because they both know the croc won't do anything about it. Maybe hippos will actually do this, where they'll groom and lick the tails of homicide in the form of a crocodile like a teething toddler. Baby hippos have no fear or respect for an animal that could probably one-shot them with those jaws. And that's because crocodiles might have a brain the size of a walnut, but even they're smart enough not to give a mother hippo a reason to catch a body. Because this is how that movie ends. So instead of turning the baby into past tense, the crocodile just has to sit there and take it. There's actually a reason hippos do this. I just don't know what it is. I've known about this since I was 7, but I never found out why they go out of their way to violate them like this. My best guess is that hippos like the taste of the salt on the crocodile's tail and they just help themselves. Either that or hippos are so disrespectful that they don't even acknowledge crocodiles as living things. But normally crocodiles and hippos will tolerate each other's existence. And sometimes crocodiles will sunbathe while riding on the backs of this African homicide horse. The crocs never get too out of line because, again, this is the end game. Moral of this video: when your mama's big enough, you can get away with anything under the sun.
I see why.
At this point, I'm not even going to apologize. You know what you signed up for. And if my eyes have to bear witness, I'm bringing everyone else down with me. Those are eponychium, but you probably heard them also be called fairy slippers. Those fairy slippers are a rubbery covering that goes over the hooves of a baby horse to protect its mother from the sharp edges while it's still inside her. It's like a pair of house slippers that the baby horse wears until it finally joins the outside. And if you've never seen this before, it's because as soon as the eponychium touches air, it starts to dry and fall off, especially once the foal starts walking. And sometimes the mother horse will pull the rubber boots off the baby with her teeth. And of course, none of it's painful for the foal, it's only painful to look at. After the first 24 hours, most of the horse feathers are already gone. It looks bad, but it's actually for a really good reason. Baby horses have to be able to stand and walk as soon as possible, since the smell of a horse being born can attract predators. But having fully formed hooves could put the mother in a pack if one of the sharp edges cuts her and causes internal bleeding. Moral of this video: this is what compromise looks like.
Not at all. What is that? I see 2 eyes.
I'm gonna hold you, that does look bad, but don't worry. It's worse than you think. Now, I could be wrong, I might be wrong, but if I had to guess, that is some type of eel, especially a snaggletooth snake eel. You can find this demonic fire hose in the Pacific Ocean. Apparently the biggest ones can grow to 3.5 feet. And I'm gonna go ahead and guess they're one of those animals designed to live at the bottom of the ocean, so when you bring them up to the surface, they become deformed creations belonging to Satan. Which is probably why it looks like a possessed balloon animal, as a result of bloating after death. And with those needles for teeth, we can guess that it eats small fish, crustaceans, and maybe even squid, and those teeth keep the struggling prey from escaping. And if that acid trip of a rough draft is anything like the moray eel, then they have a second set of pharyngeal jaws in its throat to make sure whatever goes in doesn't come out. But having a throat with a child lock does backfire when you choke yourself into an obituary. And I know I said snaggletooth before, but it could also be a fang-toothed snake eel, especially since they're found deeper down. And as much as I genuinely love freaking y'all out, they're pretty much harmless and probably wouldn't bite you unless you did something to deserve it. So this thing's probably dead. But this is proof that nature has rough drafts and its trash bin is the bottom of the ocean.
Not the music. What is this?
You see these bones? You want to know what made these bones? You don't want to know what made these bones. Because this graveyard was found in the nest of one of the most homicidal things in the Amazon. Harpy eagle is a paralysis demon with wings. Not only are they one of the largest murder tweeties in the world, they have talons that are as big as the claws of a grizzly bear. Harpies use those vice grips to crush the bones of their prey on the way back to the nest. But there's one important thing about them that makes them a special type of menace. The worst thing about this eagle are those wings. Nature gave harpy eagles short wings, meaning not only can they fly through the jungle to catch prey, it means no name on the census is safe. Which is why this steroid hell pigeon has one of the most disrespectful KDs out there. Just in this picture you can see monkeys, sloths, armadillos, and lizards that never made it home because this Air Bundy caught him slipping. That is literally how they hunt. They'll sit in a tree for hours just waiting for a chance to activate someone's life insurance. Yeah, Buckbeak don't be playing. Because you said please, here's 5 things you might not know about this Black Air Force Fair. One of their main defenses involves flipping their anus inside out and assaulting your senses with the smell. Honey badgers are cousins with skunks and wolverines, and they smell just as ripe. Their reversible booty hole is so vile that it apparently stuns bees and stops them from attacking. Which brings us to number 2. Honey badgers are not immune to bee stings. They are resistant, so they probably would last longer than you, but if enough bees get under a dome, they could end up being a pack. But since these hood weasels don't value life, not even their own, sometimes they'll actually sit there and keep eating while actively being stung by hundreds of bees. And because they are the way they are, sometimes they'll keep eating until they eventually get stung to death. Number 3, it's believed that cheetah cubs evolved to look like honey badgers so they could avoid getting harassed by other animals. Meaning this African bush ferret is such a case that a predatory big cat has to impersonate them just to get more respect. Number 4, in some parts of central India, they're called a name that translates to grave badger because apparently the honey badger has a reputation for digging out human graves and eating the corpses. And number 5, honey badgers aren't real badgers. Those are true badgers, and the honey badger's all the way over there. So when you hear me call this a steroid felony weasel, I'm only half kidding.
That each other exists.
What, don't know they exist?
Sharks have no fucking clue that camels exist. And
Oh boy, do I have a story for you. So like, fun fact, actually
You said sharks have no clue that camels exist? What is your logic?
Oddly disturbing fact. Camels are one of those animals that have no business swimming but do it anyway, and they're unnecessarily good at it. And an animal whose home address is a desert being able to pull up on you in the ocean is one of the biggest you I do what I want moves from nature. There's a type of dromedary camel called karai that are so comfortable with water that they'll cross rivers and even shallow stretches of the ocean as they look for food. And that's because these overgrown water donkeys love eating mangroves on islands offshore, so much that they'll travel for hours to get it. There's actually a pretty good chance that at least one shark will see one of these sand-loving hump jockeys out in the ocean. He told his friends they did not believe it. Moral of this video: if you're ever on a boat off the coast of a country like Algeria, you better be prepared to say what's up to a camel. This is a picture of an alligator riding on top of a manatee in Florida. I've already explained how gators aren't really a threat to full-grown manatees, and oftentimes the same reptile that would tear your arm completely off gives manatees the right of way in the water. But apparently these two hang out as friends. Kinda. There's a couple reasons why this might be happening. Alligators are cold-blooded, so they love chilling in sunny spots. I guess they figured an aquatic breathing beanbag chair was as good as any rock or log, since manatees are basically the capybara of the water. Oh, seriously, different animal, but same vibes. Either the manatee doesn't mind or he's simply too unbothered to care. And to somehow make it even more wholesome, alligators and crocodiles often give each other piggyback rides. I don't really know why exactly they do this, but since it doesn't do anything for them in terms of survival, you can assume they do it just cause it's fun. Probably a stretch, but there's a small chance that this is an alligator's way of playing with the manatee, and the manatee is just too unproblematic to stop him. Probably the first thing, but for the sake of my mental health, I'm gonna go with the play. Let me tell you why this bird is the biggest menace to society you've never heard of. This is a southern giant petrel. Its nickname is a stinker because they have the same dumb diet as vultures with none of the redeeming qualities. This dumpster tweety takes all kinds of meat: rotting, decaying, disease, it don't matter, they don't discriminate. And just like vultures, when this overgrown corpse pigeon finds a carcass, it starts eating it ass first. They also delete and eat penguin chicks, and they've even been known to drown gannet chicks by holding them underwater until their soul gets evicted. Basically performing a baptism and an abortion for the price of one. Also, the giant inner name is because the biggest ones can have a wingspan of nearly 7 feet. Meaning you're probably shorter than the length of its wings. It's not even the worst thing about them. If the petrol thinks you're too close, it'll projectile vomit the contents of whatever disrespect was marinating in its garbage disposal of a stomach. As if getting sprayed with half-eaten seal wasn't enough, it's actually so acidic that it can eat at the waterproof coating of seabirds' feathers. And some of the seabirds that get hit can't swim. Since they have sea literally in their name, that's a dick move. Also, the red face is because they spend so much time violating the corpses of other animals. They're basically seagulls on crack. Those are the eyes of a bird that will never see heaven. Yeah, cheetahs aren't big cats, and you're right, I probably should have explained that. So when you talk about wildcats, you have two flavors of felines. You got the Panthera genus, and you got Team Felinae. Now, the Panthera genus has lions, tigers, jaguars, leopards, and snow leopards, and they all have one thing in common, is that they can all roar. Except the snow leopard, but they're so cool they get it strictly off clout. And these are what people call big cats, but you'll probably notice there's two big names missing. And that's because mountain lions and cheetahs can't roar, so they don't qualify as big cats, meaning they belong to the second group of cats, which also includes ocelots, caracals, lynxes, and even the pet cat watching you watch this. Instead of roaring, these guys purr. Apparently, if you're a cheetah, you also chirp like a bird, because of course they do. Also, the name big cat doesn't really refer to their size, because the smallest big cat is outweighed by the biggest little cat. Basically, it comes down to if you can roar, you sit at the big cat lunch table. If you purr, you ride the little cat bus. And if you're a cheetah, you sit alone, because honestly, what is this?
I mean, I think, let me get this straight. The leopards are the panther, the jaguar, go like row, row. And lions and tigers, roar. You get what I'm saying? Each big cat has a different tone. Like the lions is more of dynamic, and like tigers are more like deeper. You know, yeah. So that was Hood Nature, aka Casual Geographic, Casual Geographic, and the savages of these animals. Hippos, camels, oh my. So thank you guys again for tuning in, and have a wonderful day. Like, comment, subscribe, and yeah, until next time guys, stay gratefully blessed. Peace.